So it's also very interesting that we have to look into the concept of the sacrifice. Even in the Gita we have this statement where Sri Krishna says, to whoever you sacrifice, there you go. If you sacrifice to the gods, so to say, you go to the gods. Yeah? If you sacrifice to Pitris, to forefathers, to ancestors, you go to them. If you sacrifice to Bhutas, to these spirits, creatures, you go to them. If you sacrifice to me, you come to me. So, and it makes me think the sacrifice is nothing but the direction of your consciousness, what you want to become. For example, you want to become a musician. You sacrifice to music, to the violin. You become violinist. You spend 6 hours, 8 hours a day with the violin, practicing it. It's a great sacrifice. You combine all your energies and faculties with this violin and thinking about it and practicing it, and over time you become a musician. The same with every direction of our becoming. So sacrifice can be seen as the becoming. What you want to become, there you share your energies with. You want to share your energies with the devatas, they will come and they will share your consciousness. And you want with the Krishna, he will come and share his consciousness with you. So this sacrifice is a very important device. Yes, just.
At other places in Gita he says that no matter who you offer, it comes to me.
Yes, but he says that it is when you do it unknowingly, avidhi purvakam. So when you do it without properly knowing, that's what I was referring to, these lower beings. They do not know that they do sacrifice. They think they waste their life. But actually it is not so. There is something happening there in spite of them knowing it. So there are two views, yes? But they go to that level of consciousness with which they identified themselves. Yeah? But the sacrifice is still taking place and he is partaking of it as the supreme behind everything, because he is in the heart of everyone, partaking of that sacrifice. Wherever you are, you may think that you are a great being, you achieved so much in life, but if you don't sacrifice, Mother says, whatever your achievement is, you are absolute zeros for the divine purpose. So, it's another statement to think about. So it's an interesting view. Wherever you go, whoever you sacrifice, what kind of energies you want to share with, to become part of that environment, you are becoming that. So you can become anything and everything. And it's good news for us, because that is the process by which we can become something we want to become.
How do we explain free will in this system?
Free will. Where is free will in all this? This is the free will. You move in any direction. Want to become identified with devatas, gods, you become godly for a moment because you share, you sacrifice with them. You want to sacrifice to Bhutas, lower beings, you become lower beings. You can be anything and everything in this world. You can direct your will wherever you want and become that.
What I mean to say was, since everything is His will, so there is the will of an individual.
And that is the development of individual. You will slowly become aware that actually you can be anything. And that is individual growing.
One can say that the divine spark is actually not working from out there, it's also in you,
Yeah.
aspiration. So that is my freedom also. That freedom is also my freedom. So there is no compatibility between that determinism and freedom. Because it is me. The aspiration is a manifestation of that freedom.
This is a very good explanation. The divine is the spark within us, and that will of the divine is also our will. And it is very true. It's only in the Indian philosophy, so to say, we can find that explanation. Unfortunately, in other philosophies where the divine is completely transcendental, his will is something else. It's imposed on man, and man has to fear it and to follow it. Otherwise, he will be punished. Yeah? As we take it from Abrahamic religions. But here we have the divine among us, within us. It is the divine who is suffering all the change. It is the divine who is going down into the darkness. It is the divine who is darkness and absence of consciousness. Yes, definitely they will be contradictory to our consciousness involved here as individual consciousness. But if you widen the scope of your view and become universal in vision, you will see that everything is managed by the very presence of that consciousness, which, manages all the bits of these individuals in a very coherent and meaningful development towards some goal, towards the manifestation of the divine. It may seem like dancing, it's dance, a few steps forward, 3 steps back, and so on and so forth. You do not understand why it does it, because we are restricted in our view. But if you would have that wider vision, you would see why it does it. Because other elements are not ready, it has to take into account that portion, this is becoming already prepared, then it has to take into account this. You do not see the whole logistics of the thing. We do not see it. And because we don't see it, we say it's contradictory. It's really not possible. But we are not having that consciousness yet. And it is impossible. And it is very nice to be true to ourselves and to say this, that it is, we do not see how it works, because we do not see. But it doesn't mean that we will not see. We will see one day, and then we will know. Because somebody already saw and told us this. And we have to aspire to really see it. That's the purpose of the Veda. The Veda is knowledge we do not have, but it is given to us that we may have it. It is helpful. It is tuning us to some higher possibility of knowing, and we are growing slowly into it.
It would also be said that in some way, moment by moment, we are co-creating that will, what we call as his will.
Yes, yes, we are projection of that will, and that will is not something constant, which is like staying unchanged. It is playful. And someone was objecting to Sri Aurobindo, saying that you predicted some events to happen and they didn't happen. How come? And he explains, and it's very interesting. He says, those forces were not there which cancelled this event. So the thing is that first it was projected and then it was modified. When then? Afterwards. That means there was other application of will. The divine is constantly, actively engaged in creation. And in that sense there is no, from our mental plane we think that it has to be constant decision which we all follow, and that's how we understand will, which is sanctioning everything. No, it is sanctioning every happening before it happens and modifies its movement. That's why we do not see how it is really happening. Because it is constantly living will of the living being. It's not predicted on one plane that you can see everything as it should be and will happen inevitably. Even on the level of Trikala Drishti, where you see 3 times, yes? These are only the events which are principally projected. The details are not worked out and shouldn't be. And that's the beauty of it. The beauty of the unknown. There is always the element of the unknown, which is the beauty of it. Yeah?
There is known the laws of being. All the laws of being will be known, but not the details.
I cannot answer for him totally, but I can think in that direction.